This video will demonstrate the basic operation of the Taurus PT92 semi-automatic pistol. I will include basic disassembly in this same video, but will not do a detailed teardown. Many of these instructions will apply, if not exactly, to the Beretta 92 or M9 US military pistol. Taurus is a Brazilian company founded in 1939 to make tools and dies. In the 1970s, Taurus and Smith & Wesson were owned by the same parent company, and Taurus revolvers are similar to Smith & Wesson designs. In 1980, Taurus purchased a manufacturing plant in Brazil from Beretta and began making a derivative of the Beretta Model 92 pistol. The Taurus pistol is not interchangeable with the Beretta. Beretta magazines will fit, but the catch slot is in a different position. Some Taurus owners will purchase Beretta magazines and cut new slots in them. The PT92 remains in production today, and new magazines and parts are readily available. In recent years, there have been several reports of poor quality control or poor customer service from Taurus, but this specimen of the PT92 is considerably older. Internet research suggests it was made in 1990, before these problems arose. The Taurus 92 is operated differently from the Beretta 92 in one particular, the safety. Both designs have diverged and evolved since the introduction of the Beretta model in 1976. The Beretta product is now an international military standard known as the M9 in United States service. The Beretta itself is a direct mechanical descendant of the German Walther P38 from the Second World War. The current version of the Beretta has a slide-mounted decocking safety, while the Taurus, especially this 1990 specimen, is closer to the original design using a frame-mounted safety, which allows the weapon to be carried cocked and locked in what Jeff Cooper, founder of the Gunsight Academy, called Condition 1. For basic operation, the controls will be very similar to the Colt Browning model of 1911, which was the subject of the very first video in this series. Nonetheless, let me adhere to the formula by first identifying the major features and controls. The frame. This specimen has an aluminum alloy frame. The slide. The large open area on top is modeled after the Beretta family of pistols and the Walther P38, which preceded them. The barrel. Standard length is 5 inches, and this model is chambered for the international standard 9x19mm Parabellum, Luger, or NATO cartridge. Later models and variants of the Beretta design are also available in .40 Smith & Wesson. The safety. Up is safe, and down is fire. This specimen comes with an ambidextrous safety. Current Taurus production includes a third lower position, like so, which has a decocking function. This specimen predates this feature. This 1990 specimen also predates the built-in lock of current Taurus production, which is usually located in the back of the hammer on these models. The safety can be engaged whether the hammer is cocked or not. The slide lock. As with most pistols of this type, the slide will lock back automatically when the magazine is empty. The magazine release. I am given to understand this catch is reversible. All the magazines which accompany this pistol have catch slots on both sides of the magazine body. The takedown lever, and on the other side the takedown lever release button. Later in this video I'll demonstrate basic field stripping. The hammer. There is a half-cock notch, which you should never have occasion to use in normal operation. The safety may also be engaged with the hammer at half-cock. The trigger. The PT92 is capable of double-action operation, but after the first shot the hammer will be automatically recocked, resulting in a single-action trigger pull for subsequent shots. As mentioned, the PT92 allows Condition 1 carry with the hammer cocked and the safety engaged, unlike the Beretta. Therefore, the PT92 can be operated as a single-action only pistol, like the 1911. The front sight and the rear sight. This specimen has typical 3-dot sights in an otherwise traditional blade and notch pattern. Other models have an adjustable rear sight, but this specimen sights are fixed. The rear sight can be drifted in its dovetail to adjust windage. Note how it is peened in place from the factory. The magazine well. Since this design uses a double column single feed magazine, beveling the magazine well or adding a funnel like I've done to my 1911 is not particularly necessary. Note also that this specimen comes with a lanyard loop. The magazine. Design capacity is 15 rounds. 10-round magazines have been made for restrictive states. Large capacities are available, like these 20-round magazines made by Metgar, who are the primary contractors for most pistol magazines in the United States. The grip is part of the frame. When first acquired, this pistol had very thick wooden stock panels. A replacement set was found online with improved contours, which are far more comfortable, but this pistol is still considerably fatter than a 1911. People with smaller hands may find operation of this or the related Beretta design difficult. The trigger guard is hooked at the front for use by the index finger of the support hand. I used to use this method, but have been trying to train myself away from it. Consult your own trainer for advice. Now let's see how to unload and make safe a weapon of this type. Always observe Jeff Cooper's 4 rules of firearm safety. They are short, simple, easy to memorize, and you have to break at least 2 of them at the same time for something bad to happen. As with any firearm which uses detachable magazines, remove the magazine first, that is, remove the supply of ammunition first. Keeping the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, Rule 2, and your fingers away from the trigger, Rule 3, press the magazine catch button located behind the trigger. The magazine should drop free. This particular 15-round magazine bulges and sticks in the frame when loaded, but these newer 20-round magazines from Metgar do not. They work perfectly. Detachable magazines are a weak point in any firearm which uses them, and should be inspected frequently and ruthlessly discarded and replaced if they are not reliable. Now, again observing rules 2 and 3, draw the slide back to extract and eject any cartridge which may be in the chamber. The safety locks the slide, so the safety must be released first. For range safety, lock the slide open manually by holding the slide to the rear and pushing up on the slide lock lever, then releasing the slide gently. Remember to observe Rule 2 and keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction, which in this case may include away from your elbow. For range courtesy, insert an empty chamber indicator. For storage, remove the chamber flag, point the weapon in a safe direction, pull back on the slide until the slide lock releases, and ease the slide forward. The hammer can be lowered either in a traditional way or by dry firing. The half-cock notch may be used if desired. Again, later models have a third safety position, which serves a decocker function, while the Beretta models have a slide-mounted safety, which always decocks the hammer when engaged. Now let's see how to load and fire a weapon of this type. As usual for this series, these are A-Zoom snap caps, solid aluminum inert dummy rounds. They're expensive, but are ideal for most forms of training or function testing. If you hand load or know somebody who does, it's not difficult to make dummy rounds of your own, such as these I made for my 98 Mauser tutorial, or these I made for my shotgun tutorials, and for 3-gun training. Cartridges are inserted in the magazine in the obvious way. A variety of tools are available to aid this process. This is a typical military issue style magazine loader, whereas this is the up lula from Maglula. And it's not the most intuitive tool at first, but once you read the instructions and understand how it's supposed to work, it works quite well indeed. The loaded magazine is then inserted into the magazine well until it catches. Like most weapons of this type, the magazine catch can be seen, heard, and felt when it engages. The safety must be released to unlock the slide. To chamber the first round, draw the slide back as far as it will go, and let it run forward under spring pressure. The weapon is now ready to fire. For carry in the field, engage the safety. This results in condition 1, just like the 1911. The extractor protrudes slightly when a round is in the chamber. This can be seen and felt relative to the unloaded state. Later models have dramatically enhanced this feature. It is not advisable to lower the hammer on a loaded chamber. If you must lower the hammer on a live round, and your specimen does not have a decocking function, keep the muzzle in a safe direction, restrain the hammer, release the safety obviously, and press the trigger. As soon as the hammer starts to move forward, release the trigger. This 1990 specimen of this model has a firing pin safety which blocks the firing pin from forward movement unless the slide is all the way forward and the trigger is pulled. If for some odd reason you must lower the hammer, I would suggest the half-cock notch. Consult your own trainer. To fire from condition 1, aim, release the safety by a natural swipe of the thumb, and press the trigger in the usual way. Repeating, the safety may be engaged whether the hammer is cocked or uncocked or at half-cock. You can also engage the half-cock even if the safety is already engaged. To fire with the hammer down or at half-cock, release the safety if it's engaged, aim, and use the longer, heavier double-action trigger pull. This will cock and release the hammer. The Taurus PT92 and similar firearms use semi-automatic operation, meaning they fire once each time the trigger is operated. The trigger must be released and pressed again for each shot. If beginning with the hammer cocked, the shorter, lighter trigger pull will be the same for every shot. If beginning with the hammer down or at half-cock, the first shot will use the longer, heavier trigger pull, and subsequent shots will use the shorter, lighter single-action trigger. On every shot, the empty case is extracted and ejected, a new cartridge is loaded from the magazine, and the hammer is recocked, resulting in the shorter, lighter trigger pull. When the magazine is empty, the slide will automatically lock back. To reload, press the magazine release button to eject the empty magazine and replace it with a loaded magazine. Make sure the catch engages. Then either press down on the slide lock to release the slide and chamber the first round, or, depending on your training, pull and release the slide. Pulling back on the slide will release the slide lock. You may now resume firing. Now let's briefly see how to field strip this weapon for routine cleaning and maintenance. First, as with any firearm, ensure all ammunition has been removed from the weapon. The earlier parts of this video demonstrate the process. With the magazine removed and the slide forward, press the button on the right side of the frame to unlock the takedown lever. Then, while holding the button, use your other hand to very slightly retract the slide and rotate the takedown lever 90 degrees. You can then release the button. The slide and barrel assembly will slide right off the frame. Further disassembly of all the fiddly bits in the frame is not recommended for routine cleaning and maintenance. Flip the assembly upside down. Grasp the rear of the recoil spring guide and pull it forward to disengage it from the barrel lug. Control the spring pressure at all times. It will fly across the room, very embarrassingly. Pressing the plunger on the back of the barrel lug will disengage the locking wedge from the barrel. The barrel then can then be lifted out of the slide. You can also remove the locking wedge from the barrel lug. The plunger must be to the rear, like so, and just jiggle it a bit and it'll come right out. Force is not required. Reassembly is the obvious reverse. The locking wedge is reinserted into the barrel lug. Again, just jiggle it, be patient. You do not have to use force. You do have to make sure that plunger is all the way to the back. There. The barrel assembly is then reinstalled in the slide. The locking wedge engages its cutouts in the slide. Insert the recoil spring in the bottom front of the slide and compress it until its guide rod can re-engage its lug. Always control the spring pressure. Don't let it fly across the room. With the safety off, and preferably with the hammer cocked, slide the resulting assembly back onto the frame from the front. You may have to jiggle a bit to get the recoil spring guide to properly line up. Then retract the slide a very small amount and flip the takedown lever back up. Then perform a function test. This should conclude the basic operation, disassembly, and reassembly of the Taurus PT92 semi-automatic pistol. Many of these instructions will also apply to the Beretta 92 or M9 and to some other Taurus or related models. The Taurus PT92 is a relatively affordable handgun which is still in production, along with several related models. It bears many similarities to the Beretta 92 or M9, which is an international military standard, which may plausibly be encountered anywhere in the world. Everyone should know how to use a variety of firearms in case of emergency. That is the purpose of this video and this series of basic firearm tutorial videos. If you have any questions, please leave them in comments. And if you found this video useful, please consider a charitable donation through the PayPal buttons at the top or bottom of most pages on my website, jeffersonian.name. Thank you.